Lieutenant Templeton Arthur Peck, played by Dirk Benedict, is a fictional character and one of the four protagonists of the 1980s action-adventure television series The A-Team. A recognized war hero, he is often referred to as Faceman. Although creators Stephen J. Cannell and Frank Lupo had Benedict in mind for the role, studio executives initially insisted that the role be handled differently. Tim Dunigan played the role in the pilot episode, but after it was completed, he was thought by the same executives to look too young to be a believable Vietnam veteran, and he was, at 6'5" inches, much taller than the rest of the cast, particularly the show's 5'10" muscle man Mr. T. He was replaced by Benedict for the rest of the show's run. Bradley Cooper portrayed the character in the 2010 film, while Benedict appeared in a post-credits cameo. Character biography. Originally serving as an infantry soldier, Face commissioned as an intelligence officer assigned to support a special operations force team where he met his soon-to-be fugitive counterparts. Suave, smooth-talking, and hugely successful with women, Peck serves as the team's con man and scrounger, able to get his hands on just about anything they need, using various disguises, albeit less than Hannibal, and assuming a wide variety of personas and backstories as his scams require. Effectively second in command behind Hannibal, he is the one who arranges for supplies, equipment, and sensitive information using numerous scams and hustles. Several episodes also suggest that he is also responsible for arranging the team's weaponry, especially when overseas, often via highly illegal means. When Hannibal is elsewhere or captured during several episodes, Face is often seen to be at the helm of the team, planning their course of action. He is also the team member who usually organizes the fees for their services, due to his aptitude with numbers, as demonstrated in a number of episodes, and at times is shown to have the ability to count large amounts of money or value expensive items within a matter of seconds. In the pilot episode, it is revealed in a discussion with an elderly priest, who it is suggested was his mentor during his youth, that Face spent his youth at a Los Angeles orphanage run by the Catholic Church, although whether Face himself is actually Catholic is never revealed. Several later episodes also reference this orphanage, later named as St. Mary's. The elderly priest is not seen again after the pilot. He does, however, mention that Face wandered into the orphanage when he was 5 years old and was first orphaned by his family and then by his country. Face's relationship with the rest of the team is that of a surrogate family. His relationship with Hannibal is built on respect and, while Hannibal sometimes has to order him to do things, Hannibal oftentimes treats Face like a son and calls him kid, usually when he is apologizing for something. He tends to treat B.A. as a brother and, although B.A. never actually hurts him, Face is sometimes scared that B.A. is going to deck him, especially after he has found out that he and Hannibal drugged him to get him on an airplane. After Face messes up a scam in Black Day at Bad Rock, and B.A. ends up getting shot in the leg as a result, Face spends the entire day terrified that B.A. is going to retaliate. Face tends to treat Murdoch like a little brother and acts like a mentor to him and often takes Murdoch with him on scams and placating whatever delusion Murdoch is currently having, although not nearly as badly as Hannibal does. In the 5th season episode Family Reunion, it is revealed that Face is Richard Bancroft, the son of former presidential advisor and convicted criminal A.J. Bancroft. However, Face only learns this from Murdoch after his father's death. Although Murdoch found out earlier, Bancroft made him promise not to tell Face, who is furious that Murdoch didn't tell him sooner about his father. Face is happy to find out about his sister, Bancroft's daughter, as it gives him at least one family member. Face seems to have an affinity for heavier caliber revolvers as opposed to the rest of the team's 45 or 9mm automatic pistols. Face usually carried a Colt Trooper .357 Magnum with a nickel finish and rosewood grips, although he sometimes used a blued Smith & Wesson Model 29. Face was usually seen to use a Ruger Mini 14 or an Uzi when he needed more firepower. Although in the earliest episodes he is depicted very much as a suave but general hustler, often seen in leather jacket and jeans and merely trying to make a life for himself while on the run, by the 2nd season his interests tend towards more cultural facets, such as country clubs, art purchasing, and wine tasting, albeit often obtained via, or used in, various cons, and his wardrobe reflecting this, containing more tailor-made suits and upmarket designer items. He is sometimes also seen to be enjoying smoking expensive cigars, again a trait shared by Hannibal. This trait was written in to reflect Dirk Benedict's own love of cigars. The early first-season episode A Small and Deadly War shows a contradiction to this. While smoking a cigar as part of his Guys on a Scam mission with Amy, he throws it away and comments, "How can Hannibal stand those things?" The very next episode, broadcast and produced, Black Day at Bad Rock, shows him to be contently puffing on a cigar for the first of a number of times in the series, suggesting that the character may have grown to like them. Despite his preference for the finer things in life, Face often takes on the most dangerous roles and missions, as he often acts as the bait to lure out their target or takes huge risks with risky scams. This arguably makes him the most visible member of the team. In the White Ballot, he publicly runs for sheriff in order to invite an assassination attempt so that the A-Team can have the would-be assassins arrested for attempted murder. Similarly, in Till Death Do Us Part, he marries an heiress that they rescue from a forced marriage so that her kidnappers will target him instead of her. Because Face sticks his neck out so much, he is the most frequently captured member of the team, while Murdoch, who often accompanies Face on scams or acts as the bait when Face isn't able to, is captured the second most often. He is, however, pretty good at finding ways to escape, but usually gets rescued by Hannibal and the rest of the team. Aside from acting as bait, Face's role as scrounger and scam artist means that the risks he takes are usually higher than the other members of the team. In Curtain Call, Face knocks out a guard, steals his uniform, and walks straight into a ranger station controlled by Colonel Decker and his MPs to steal medical supplies that Murdoch needs after being shot, despite knowing there was a high probability of getting arrested. Also, when a member of the team needs to be captured in order to infiltrate an enemy prison, it's usually Face who ends up with the job. In The Island, Face lets himself be captured in order to find the prison where the doctor who once saved BA's life in Vietnam is being held, and in The Theory of Revolution he purposely gets caught in order to infiltrate a brutal dictator's prison. What's interesting is that he does this despite knowing that he will likely be beaten and interrogated, as he doesn't seem to be surprised when he is hauled off for interrogation. Even Murdoch tells him he was brave to have done it and gives him a merit badge. Despite his complaining, Face is actually a very brave guy who is willing to put the team before himself. Face is the most gentle member of the main A-Team foursome, generally attempting to avoid conflict and reluctant to get into brawls, if nothing else to avoid damaging his clothes and seeing fights as a nuisance, a contrast to the more gung-ho attitudes of Hannibal, Murdoch and BA, who are more typically seen to enjoy piling into a fight. Awards and decorations. A Nice Place to Visit. The following are the medals and service awards fictionally worn by Lieutenant Peck in A Nice Place to Visit. Trial by Fire, and Firing Lane. The following are the medals and service awards fictionally worn by Lieutenant Peck in Trial by Fire, and Firing Lane. Nickname and origins. The character's full nickname varies in different media. Introduced in the pilot and many other episodes, his nickname is clearly given as the Faceman. Other examples drop there. Many early episode scripts listed the character as Faceman. In other literature, he is sometimes referred to as the Face. In the 2010 movie, he is Faceman, again dropping the. The name Faceman originates from a popular slang term used by girls for attractive male students during Stephen J. Cannell's high school years, that is, "Look at that Faceman," as in look at that good-looking boy. A hunk. Character's name in other countries. In some Spanish-speaking countries, his nickname is Faz, coming from Fascinador as it was stated in the pilot episode dubbed Operation AT, and Black Day at Bad Rock, among many, many others. In Spain, his nickname was Far, copyright Nix. In Italy he was called Spella, standing for Faccia da Spurl, an Italian slang for a lovable scoundrel. In Brazil, his nickname was Cara de Pau. In Poland, Bułka, similarly to its Hungarian counterpart, Tsar, copyright Fear. In France, Futa, copyright, which holds for smart. In Russia, his name was THSHN Euro TH degree NTH degree TH squared NTH TH. which stands for handsome. In Korea, his name was copyright II, which stands for handsome and stylish. In Taiwan, his name was a degree Celsius unregistered trademark 1/2, as in a degree Celsius unregistered trademark 1/2 E per mil, literally little white face, a phrase used to describe a good-looking, pampered, and sleek man. In Hungary, his name was Tsar copyright Fear. Vehicle: Peck drives a custom white 1984 Chevrolet Corvette with red interior and a red stripe. It is equipped with a CB radio and a mobile phone. The license plate was S9672338 in the Taxicab Wars, and then changed to 1HJG851. The car first featured in the second season episode The Taxicab Wars. As well as a number of cameos in other stories, the car was prominently featured in several episodes, including Season 2's Chopping Spree, where it was used as bait in an attempt to catch car thieves. The car's final appearance is in the fifth season open a Dish Pan Man, where it is heard, off-screen, to crash after new recruit Frankie Santana gives Face some bad advice about repairing the faulty brakes. However, as BA's jewelry is also damaged via similar bad advice and yet reappears in subsequent episodes, it is never made clear whether the Corvette was too badly damaged to drive from that point onwards, or simply didn't happen to appear in any more stories before production of the series was cancelled later in the season. 2010 film. In the 2010 film, Peck is played by comic actor Bradley Cooper. Like B.A., Hannibal, and Murdoch, he has an Army Ranger tattoo. As in the TV series, Face is depicted as a handsome, smooth-talking ladies' man, but is also shown having a relationship with Captain Carissa Souza, who pursues the A-Team after they escape from prison. Throughout the film, Face matures from a womanizing joker to a calculating professional, to the point that, in the film's climax, he, not Hannibal, plans the A-Team's legal redemption. Face plans the mission based on a classic confidence game including cranes and shipping crates, and involving Murdoch being shot in the head. B.A. initially regrets the team's reliance on Face, but changes his mind after they learn Souza has smuggled a key into Face's mouth with a kiss. Face also shows considerable maturity when he accepts his own punishment, rather than allowing Hannibal to take the full blame. Face ends the film by saying Hannibal's catchphrase, "I love it when a plan comes together." Benedict had a small cameo, which he reportedly regretted. In the scene before Face's escape from the disciplinary barracks, he is approaching a tanning bed and asks Benedict's character what to do about his face. Benedict answers, "You don't mess with it, kid." Awards and decorations The following are the medals and service awards fictionally worn by Lieutenant in the 2010 movie adaptation. References